Hello, everybody. I hope that you are all doing well this fine Wednesday evening. I guess depending on where you are. In case you didn't know, I am Demetra K of the Demetra K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side. Did you guys lose me for just a second? I lost me. I don't know if y'all could hear me or not. Did I go blank? If y'all can give me like a thumbs up if I was good, or thumbs down. I don't know if I went blank. It was kind of weird, so I don't know what's going on with this. Anyway, so y'all can see me. Did I blank out? I did freeze up. Ooh, I don't know why it's doing that. So hopefully it doesn't keep doing it. If it does do it, and it now probably have to come back. So, please forgive me. But did y'all hear me anyway? So y'all can hear me now. Okay, I don't know what's going on. So anyway, while we are here, we're going to be talking about a Latina being outraged about one of his advisors, his most trusted advisor, saying that her people are like alligator bait, right? So we'll get into all of that, of course, but she's outraged. She's like, I can't believe this, right? So anyway, give everybody just a moment to come on. I don't know why. Hopefully I'm not still frozen. This is crazy. I don't know why I hadn't done this in like forever. It might be a system thing. So y'all bear with me if it does it. Ooh, that's terrible. So who do we have on here? Brother Reggie, what's going on with you? Facts Not Feeling. Hope you're doing well. Brother Thunder, how you doing? LaShonda, what's going on with you? Freddie B in the place to be. How you doing? S. Williams, what's going on? Miss Sweets, hope that you are doing well. Keziah, hope you're having a great day. Brother Troy, what's up? Herman, hope you're having a great day. Let's see who else is on here. Dixie Dean, what's going on? So you can hear me. I hope it doesn't do that again. It's the strangest thing. What's up, Diana? Oh, you can see me. Okay. My daughter's like, you're good. I don't know. Diane, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Who else is on here? Maureen, what up? Agent Black, you're not working today? And Sagittarius Goddess, how you doing? And Stankin' Black. Okay, let me read what you have to say. Let's see what you own. It says, a lot of enlightenment comes from Black people. Keep it up and you ain't going to be here. I'm not sure what you own, but I'm going to be paying attention to you. Anyway, but of course, how you doing? Frank, how you doing? Long time no see. Hope that you are doing well. Daryl, what's up? PGH Big Dog, what's going on? And S Edgy. All right, let's get into it because Lord knows what's going on here. As I was saying, there's a Latina out there. She's upset. She is upset. I don't know why it's doing that, you guys. I have no idea. Am I still frozen? Okay, you can see me now? Okay, cool. I swear to God, I don't know why it's doing that, but just bear with me. Hopefully it'll do what it's got to do. So I'm going to remove some stuff from my studio. I'm going to put this up so y'all can see it, and then I'll come on back.
We're gonna hear about this on the news, of course, but one of the president's top advisors, Laura Loomer, just called for the genocide of Latinos in the United States. In a tweet, when talking about the alligators at Trump's newest concentration camp for undocumented immigrants, Alligator Alcatraz, she said, "Alligator lives matter. The good news is alligators are guaranteed at least 65 million meals if we get started now." You guys, there are not 65 million undocumented immigrants or immigrants in the United States. But you know what there is 65 million of? Latinos in the United States. And that's exactly who she is talking about when she is referring to the 65 million meals for the alligators at Alligator Alcatraz. This is proof that it was never about the immigrants. It was always about making America white again. They are no longer hiding it. They are saying it out loud. And it is time that we start believing when they tell.
So anyway, let me remove her. Hopefully it doesn't freeze up again. Sorry about that. So anyway, she's basically mad because Laura Loomer, who is one of Trump's advisors, basically was talking about Alligator Alcatraz. Now, you guys may or may not have heard about Alligator Alcatraz. That's in Florida, the Everglades, rather, where there's a lot of alligators, right? So they built a detention center, ICE detention center, to hold illegal immigrants that they catch, right? And so she's basically saying, well, good. That sounds like a lot of alligator meals, right? 65 million of them. And then that particular woman was more or less like, well, it's 65 million of us here. So it's not even about, the illegal immigrants. It's about all of us. And so she ended with, well, they're trying to make America white again, which is like, well, where have you been, right? That's nothing new. That's something but as I thought about it, I was like, okay, yeah, she late to the party. She late to the party because we as Black Americans, we've always known that, right? That they are trying to make America white again. But I guess now they're not really trying to hide it as much. But as I also got to thinking about it, I was like, that's why I put the thumbnail of the alligators with the Black babies. And again, if I freeze up, you guys just hold on a second. I'll be back. But that's why I put the thumbnail up of the Black babies with the alligators, because that conversation is not new to us, right? They, being white supremacists, used to use Black babies for alligator bait. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, that's not true. They said it's not true. First of all, who is this they? Who is this they that said it's not true? Now, there was an article from the New York Times from 1908 that talked about an incident of a Black child being used as alligator bait. Now, of course, a lot of people tried to debunk it and say, oh, well, that's just kind of stuff that they would say, but it didn't really happen and all that other stuff. But if you think about it, and I had a postcard I was going to show you, but I don't know if that's causing me to freeze, so I'm not going to put it up, but you can see it on the thumbnail. But they used to sell postcards of Black babies in, whether it was a cartoon. And I even saw one that was real. And I don't know if the alligator was real, but the child surely was. But they would show these postcards and things of Black babies in the mouths of alligators, right? And they thought it was just so funny and this, that, and the other. So it's like, let's say it didn't actually happen. But why would you sell postcards and things like that to illustrate Black babies being used as alligator bait? So when I hear that Latina say that, I'm like, okay, again, y'all new to hearing this kind of conversation because you all have been oblivious to that kind of thing, because we know that a lot of them, especially when they come over here, they, I guess, classify themselves as white. In fact, statistically speaking, I think it's about 58% of Hispanics classify themselves as white. So now, of course, we know with Trump, his administration with this mass deportation thing, mostly Latinos, I would say, are being targeted, although we heard that there's 500 Haitians that's on the list as well. But it's like they're getting this rude awakening because now the bullseye is on them, right? The bullseye is on them, and they're like, oh my God, how could they say this and say this out in the open? It's like, it's nothing new. They're saying these things out loud now. So, I don't think anybody should be alligator bait. I surely never thought our people should be alligator bait, but where was the outrage when our people were alligator bait or tree bait or police bait or any of that other stuff, right? So I want to know what you guys think about her revelation of one of Trump's advisors saying that they are alligator bait, for a lack of better words. So anyway, thank you for bearing with me. Sorry about the freezing. Hopefully it doesn't do it again. Anyway, let's see who else is on here. Where did I leave off? You, Brother Reggie, you crazy. Talking about I pulled a Mitch McConnell. I can't stand you. Y'all know what he means with Mitch McConnell when he froze up? And knowing me, I probably froze up looking crazy. Like, anyway. Sorry about that. Where did I leave off? Thunder. You say, DK, you know, when you start speaking the truth, folks at YouTube start jiggling wires at the main office. Well, I don't know if that's the case or if it's, I use StreamYard. If it's that, who knows, right? Everything's unpredictable, but just know that I am here. I'm not, a robot or anything like that. So hopefully it doesn't do it again, Frank. And I said hello to you already. Okay, hold up. Let me get rid of this person unless y'all already did, but they're gone. All right. So Tony, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Al, how you doing? Says pull your camera back because you right up on the screen. Am I? Sorry about that. My camera's actually pretty far back. See, it's pretty far back. I don't know. So y'all don't like seeing my big face? All right. Let's see. In all seriousness, Karat, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Tracy, what's going on with you? Who else? And thank you, Miss Sweets, for asking everybody to hit the like button. And Brother Reggie say, Alligator lives matter. Where can I get that t-shirt? You crazy. Yeah, that's what she said, right? Alligator lives matters. Like, but why isn't somebody surprised at how they think and how they speak? I'm not surprised by that. But like I said, apparently they are. So alligator lives matter more than humans, right? But again, that's nothing new to us. Sherry, how you doing? Says, do not leave the facility and you will not be alligator bait. Well, damn, they were not going to let these people take over. So yeah, you're talking about the immigrants. Of course, that's a play on Alcatraz in San Francisco, right? It was supposed to be where you couldn't escape it because it's in the middle of the ocean. But we know people, they got out of there. So I guess if a person really wanted to escape alligator Alcatraz, they could. So yeah. Negroes, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Daryl says Angola prison is a concentration camp. She should shut her mouth. Yeah, Angola, I heard, is one of the worst prisons in the world, and I never ever want to go there. But yeah, I heard it's pretty horrible. And brother said, how you doing? Says make America white again after years of exploitation. Well, when was it ever not white? You know what I mean? But of course, them folks, they felt like everybody else is taking over, their country, right? But they forgot that they took it from somebody else. So yeah, Jesse says, we've been told these Latinos, they hella late. Yeah, so basically you're saying we've been told them they didn't want to listen because they saw themselves as white, right? White or Jason or whatever the case. And it's like, no, yeah, they think that y'all like us too. To them, you're not any more special, even to the tune of them saying, oh, y'all gonna be next. Okay. Yvonne, how you doing? Says they are mad because Trump told them you're not white. Pretty much, right? Obi, how you doing? Where have you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. He says they use us as alligator bait. Yeah. That's a history that we know, right? We know that they've done that. Of course, they'll again say that's not true. It didn't happen. It's like, well, then why are you selling postcards showing alligators eating black babies? And of course, they would have used the black children for bait for alligator meat and skin and chews and all kind of stuff, right? So obviously to them, the alligator was more valuable than a black baby. Imagine how horrible that have to be, especially you as a parent, a mother or a father, having your children disappear or snatch from you. And then you later find out, if you ever found out what happened to them, right? That they fed it to an alligator. Like, screw you, right? Screw you. We need your child for an alligator. How horrible. And this happened, I'm sure probably throughout slavery, but definitely documented from the late 1800s to the early 1900s. So yeah, Lance, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. It says, but Latinos strive to be white, but the actually she talking about, it's a rude awakening for them. Lachey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. S. Edgy says, black kids have been used as alligator bait during slavery and after slavery as well. Ivani says they're upset because Trump told them you're not white, you're not like us. Not only telling them, but showing, right? Mad Dog, how you doing? You say she's slow. Brother Reddy says that woman in the video does not know the meaning of a concentration camp or genocide. Yeah, because there's no genocide going on with in regards to ICE concentration camp. I mean, it's not home. I don't know what it looks like exactly, but they got beds and stuff in there. I have seen some reports where they say, especially that one in Florida, that it's leaking and it's not really up to par, because I think they only took 8 days to construct it, right? And they started moving people in there. But you're right, it's not a concentration camp, and nobody's offing, her people. Red Aries, how you doing? Says absolutely true. People just in denial. The Cooking Channel, how you doing? Says nobody will be harmed. If these folks are intentionally harmed, that will be considered genocide and they will get reparations. You know what? You ain't lying. They would probably get it first. And you know who would help them get it? The Democrats. The Democrats would help them get it first. But, they tell us now. Kenneth, how you doing? It says, assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam to you. It says, my beautiful sister, good to see your lovely face. Well, thank you so much. And Buckhorse, she says, I'd like to know, who is we, the new slaves? Me too. I'd like to know as well. And Sagittarius guys said it's true about the alligator bait. Yeah, but of course, people are trying to say, them people, they don't ever want to own the things that they've done, right? Their history, oh, it wasn't true. We didn't do that. It's like, of course you wouldn't admit it, but you probably got a whole notebook full of postcards of black babies in alligator mouths. You know what I mean? That idea came from somewhere. It didn't just spring up out of nowhere like, oh, I think this will be a good postcard. Just like they made postcards of our people being put on trees, right? You could go and Google that, see images of our people, strange fruit. But I guess they didn't do that either, huh? I think is it Indiana, somewhere like that? They got a mural painted, and you can see the feet of somebody who, we'll say strange fruit for the YouTube purposes, rather. You can see their feet, and then you see them folks looking up. It's a painting on a wall of that. And that's a real event that happened where they put our people in trees. They got all kind of, souvenirs and things like that to commemorate that. Belt buckles, and y'all heard what they did with Nat Turner. So why would it be far-fetched to think that they wouldn't have made alligator bait out of black babies? So yeah. Let's see who else came on here. All right, hold up. I gotta block somebody else. Mike Nice, did I say hello to you? If not, hello. Let's see who else haven't I seen. JJ, what's going on with you? Says worship of white supremacists does not get you far. Yeah, a lot of people have learned that, right? Thunder says, but aren't they classified as white? Because I've encountered a lot of them that say they're white and spew white supremacist talking points and even go as far as to help white supremacists to harm us politically, etc. Yeah, listen, I used to do the census, and a lot of times they would say they're white, even though I can see, are you really? But it wasn't my job. I couldn't tell them that they weren't white, but a lot of them would say, yeah, that they're white. So it's nothing new, right? We've kind of always known that. That's kind of how they classify themselves. A lot of them do. As Eddie says, that is why Black Americans got to delineate from them folks permanently. Absolutely. Red Aries, he says they have the illusion of inclusion. Yeah, they getting a rude awakening. In fact, Not Feeling says Black people 100 years from now, people will say what the apartheid state did to Palestinians was not true. What I'm saying is what happened to Black people in America is true. Absolutely. And we've heard the stories, right, of the things that have happened to our people. So, yeah, I mean, even you have them folks, even on TikTok, every once in a while, you'll see and hear them tell stories about what their ancestors did to Black people. There was one, I think it was a lady. She said she heard her people, like her dad and her uncles, talking about what they would do to Black people, like put them in pig vats or something. And this wasn't even in slavery. It was like, I think the early 1900s or like the 1950s and 40s in America. They would do that to Black people. So they're starting to tell these stories of, hey, yeah, I heard my uncle and them talking about how they used to mistreat Black people. So, JJ said Vivek Ramaswamy, he got his rude awakening. We don't hear nothing from him at all anymore, right? And Raven, how you doing? Says alligator food. It says do the Latina know white folks ate us. The delectable Negro. Yeah, that is true. Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Timothy, thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. You says they have postcards of, yeah, you can Google it. If you don't believe me, go Google it and come on back. And you can see it on the thumbnail. Postcards of alligators eating black babies. Absolutely. That is the truth. Okay, let's see who else do I have on here. They have not seen so far. Okay, so far I think I've seen everybody. Just want to kind of catch up. Hey, Tracy, how you doing? Amber, what's going on with you? Says nearly 40% of the people who live in Mike Johnson's congressional district are on Medicaid. Hopefully they don't like having health coverage. Some of them will lose their Medicaid. Yeah, and that's what they say. It remains to be seen. I've seen some of the verbiage. Admittedly, I haven't looked into it because it's almost 1,000 pages, but I really need to. But so far, what I'm seeing is they're saying able-bodied people, you know, are going to have to do some type of requirements to stay on it and, you know, whatever. And again, I haven't looked into it, so I don't want to speak prematurely about something I really have no knowledge of. But all of it really remains to be seen, right? But that's even more of an argument for the midterms when they come up, to vote responsibly, right? Get people in office in our Congress that's going to hold the president accountable and say, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. You know what I mean? So, yeah. The Shay says, that's crazy how she's trying to connect her plight to ours. He says, though there is no comparison. Well, I didn't get that she was trying to connect it, but I'm just saying that conversation about alligators and people is not a new one. They've had that conversation about our people, you know, since they even came in contact with us here in America. It was nothing for them to feed a black baby to an alligator, you know, and go home at night and sleep was not a problem. Knowing that some mom and dad is crying their eyes out because I'm sure they didn't tell them and wondering where their babies are, and in the horror of finding out that they did that to your child, you know, and they slept that night. Nothing has changed. That has not changed. So when people say, oh, there's no racism or slavery is over or this, that, and the other, is it? Is it when we're living in 2025 and they're still having those type of conversations? Is racism really over? I don't think so. Think it through. How you doing? It says, well, don't get pissed. Go back home. Then you ain't got to be alligator anything. You said it. I didn't. Christina, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Who else do we have on here? Arneva, how you doing? Triple A, what's going on with you? One who cares. Hope you're having a great day. Pop, what's going on? You coming in here? You gonna behave? Something tells me you're not. I just have to ask every time, hoping that you'll say, you know what? I'm gonna be on my best behavior. But I love you anyway. Tamara, how you doing? It says Angola prison was originally a plantation. That is true. And it still operates like that one. From what I understand, I've never been and never want to go. All right. And Jesse says, I've seen an article about them bugs being the size of hands in alligator Alcatraz. Yeah, and that's what they said too. That they're, I guess, is not very well put together. It was, you know, constructed again in a couple of days. So they're saying it's not very well put together. But it's like, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, just send me back to where I came from. Wherever that is. I don't need to be here. Just send me back home. I'll make it do what it do there, right? And Damon, hope you are doing well. DL, what's going on? She says, when was it ever white? Well, I mean, it's been white for a very long time. You know, you might not think in terms of white people, although there are a lot of white people here in the United States, but the white laws, white control. It's the false idea of supremacy because they're not more superior than us. But, you know, the laws and everything were made by them and for them to benefit them. But now they feel like they're being, you know, genetically annihilated, which that is true. You can't stop that. So, yeah, I would say there's an argument as to why they legislate the way they do and all of that. But, yeah, it's always been for whiteness. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. See, I knew you was gonna act up, Pop. I knew it. Sister Shirley, how you doing? DL says Cubans getting flued out Flued out where? And Tracy says, we're always next. Yep. Facts Not Feelings says, our job as Black people is to learn from the history of America, be prepared to separate when the U.S. falls apart. White supremacy will destroy America before they allow the brown people to take it over. I totally agree with you. Totally. Eugene, what's going on with you? Hope you're doing well. Chaos, what's going on? It says, better evoke the spirit of Speedy Gonzalez. I used to love that cartoon when I was a kid. Dez, how you doing? Says they should have just self-deported. The white supremacists aren't playing with them. Yeah, and again, Trump, Tom Homan, they all said what was going to happen when they got in office. They said it. It's going to be this mass deportation, and we're going to do this or we're going to do that. But somehow people are like, I'm just going to keep on going to everyday life. But really it's because they thought Kamala was going to be reelected, and she wasn't. See, even at that, when they saw that she lost, and when she conceded, okay, I lost, and congratulations to Trump, that would have been their cue to get your stuff and get up out of here. But even then, they thought, okay. So yeah, Juggernaut, what's going on with you? Says, he says, effed up. Updates. SCOTUS let the Oompa Loompa have his way toward mass firings of government employees again. But what bugs me is how he starts wars, but breaking down the government from inside. Well, that's probably more or less because, when they said Doge was doing it, they're getting rid of waste and fraud. Okay. But now they're doing it because more than likely, I don't know, I'm speculating, to get rid of, checks and balances, right? Regulations, people who can really, hold Congress and him accountable. If I fire everybody and get rid of all these checks and balances, these different departments, then who's going to check me, boo? That's what that's about. But again, I know on the left, they always say, well, elections have consequences. And yes, they do. So next time, Democrats, get somebody who's going to actually be doing something good instead of talking foolish. Because this was on the Democrats. They lost this. There's no way that Trump should have came back after being defeated the second time, and then he came back the third time and won overwhelmingly. There's no way he should have done that. See, that was a indictment on the Democrats, not necessarily the Republicans. I think a lot of people was like, Trump, not so much. But if this is what Kamala and the Democrats are offering, well, then I guess it's Trump. So yeah, that's on them too. Corey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sagittarius Goddess says a lot of them was calling themselves white. Yep. Wisdom Master Reviews. How you doing? Says it's not FBA's problem. Who cares? I agree. Most Black Americans are just sitting back and doing what we're doing, right? And actually, so an awakening for a lot of us. Of course, with the Essence Festival taking place, there's a lot of nonsense that came out of that. Of course, we know it's not Black American owned anymore. It's owned by a Liberian, and there's a Kenyan CEO, over the Essence everything, right? And so over the last couple of years, the festival has kind of gone downhill, whether it's performances and just, a lot of stuff. From what I understand, I've never been to an Essence Festival, but from what I heard, especially this last time, the Black American energy is just completely gone. They even had like a Jollof and jambalaya cook-off or something like that. And it's like, even the locals there in Louisiana or New Orleans was like, they didn't hardly have any New Orleans vendors there. They had, people from outside of New Orleans as vendors and stuff. And I would think if you're going to New Orleans, you would want to taste some of the, local food and things like that. So while they said they put a lot of money into the economy, it was like there was more money for people to be making. So I say all that to say we're having a rude awakening, because it's like, yeah, and everybody else is too. We need Black Americans. We can't just thumb our nose at them and say we're too bad. We're going to cook Jollof and jambalaya and not have no Uncle Ben's up in there or whatever, right? So yeah, we're learning a lot nowadays. Facts Not Feelings says Black people can never successfully integrate with a culture that fed our babies to alligators. Be prepared for the eventual separation and to defend yourself. I agree. Tracy says we have been alligator bait. We have been their meals, clothes, hair stuffing for our furniture. We have been many things not good for the pale face. You're absolutely right. Totally. And Miss Sweet, you say facts. JJ says they probably got internet service in there. Are you talking about in the detention center? I doubt it, but they might. Fresh Air, how you doing? So they say ICE is throwing people out of the deportation planes. I heard that, but it's like, are they really doing that? Just boop, get out. No parachute, nothing, right? I don't know. Now, I did hear that they are dropping people off where they aren't from, like Somalia is one of the places people are being deported to. I don't know. Lanita, how you doing? Says their off-white card has been canceled. You crazy. Jesse says, ooh, we can't have them getting reparations before us. I don't know. It could happen, right? Obi says, if it happened, crazy. Did it? Okay. Tamara says, made it into shoes. Oh, yes, made us into shoes, book covering, lampshades, and more. Yep. Red Aries says, I remember the postcard with the two little white girls in the foreground. Yeah, and they were just looking. They were happy, right? Like, oh my God, we got to go and see this. FM, how you doing? Says the book without sanctuary. Okay. Skipping on down. Panther Strike, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says, can any of those illegal immigrants conceptualize FBA being on the receiving end of terrorism? Terrorism that continues today. FBA families watch children being fed to alligators. Yeah, I don't think that they can. But somehow somebody will try to, hijack that. But I just wanted to put it out there. It's like, that's nothing new. They've been talking like that. In fact, not even just talking, they've been doing, right? Brina, how you doing? Long time no see. I'm glad that you caught me live as well. Herschel, what's going on with you? Hello, love. What's going on? Negro says there's no evidence of them feeding Black children to alligators. It was more fear mongering and scare tactics. Also, they sold those images and made films of the idea. It was more wishful thinking. Actually, it wasn't wishful thinking because there are reports of it actually happening. And a lot of, stories passed down from our ancestors that it did happen. And again, I know, and I'm not saying this about you, but I understand it, because it's almost like, well, they said it didn't happen. They're probably not going to too much admit to that, but they've admitted to a whole lot of other heinous things that they have done on that same level and worse. So why would that be fictional all of a sudden? And why would you need to, fantasize about that if indeed it never happened? There's some people who say slavery didn't happen the way it did. There's a lot of people saying, oh, our slavery didn't happen because where are the slave ships? You know what I mean? So, yeah. Corey. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen on here? Because I know I'm behind and I really don't mean to be. Okay, hold on a second. This person just keeps on making accounts. I guess they're bored. Jersey Drive, how you doing? She says she must ain't know about gator babies. Well, hopefully somebody will tell her, right? Yeah. Miss Sweet says, whoever, I keep blocking them too. They just keep making accounts of somebody who's really in love with us over here. So they let them waste their time. Patrice, how you doing? Hope you're doing well this fine evening. And I see you guys' comments. I just want to kind of get down to the bottom a little bit. Chris Allen, how you doing? Says they use our newborns as human bait. Yeah. Yeah, and I did see the Negroes. It says Ann Coulter said they didn't enough Indians. Yeah, but that's how they talk. It's nothing new to them. It's dinner table conversation to them, right? Fatty Hattie, how you doing? Says, why don't they just take their assessment back to their country? They love to represent everywhere else, but in their country. Yeah, I agree with you. It's weird to me, Tracy says that's because they're psychopaths, and I wouldn't be surprised if they told them to get pleasure from the pain of their faces. Oh, come on now, they did. Because how could you watch anything like that, whether it's putting people on trees or alligator bait or any of that, and not to be vulgar, but a lot of them got off on that, because they said most of the time when a Black man was that they dismembered his, genitals. And they kept that as a keepsake. So that was also done because of jealousy, right? And they're infatuated with that. I'm not making this stuff up. You can look and see that. That's something that was almost always done. You know, I don't want to demonstrate for you fellas because I know I was going to do that. Y'all was probably going to. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff they did. All right, who else did I see on here? Poppy said the mosquitoes down there are tearing them up. Yeah, they said the mosquitoes are bad in Alligator, Alcatraz. They said it's horrible. Brother Reddy says, how hard is it to understand that sneaking into a country is breaking the law? Well, because they've been told. I mean, especially the last administration. Come on, it's good. Come on over. You're okay. Come on. We got everything. We got phones. We got money. We got housing. You got everything you want. Just come over, right? So they're probably like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, come on. And then they did. And then when they left out of office, they left them unprotected. So yeah, they kind of set them up for that. As Eddie says, Demetra, notwithstanding that they used to throw Black Americans alive in boiling pots during slavery. Yeah. And that's, I saw on TikTok, somebody was talking about that happening in like the 1950s. Not the 1850s, the 1950s. She overheard her people talking about a time that they did that. So yeah. Tamara says there's a recording circulating. Biden saying FBA will have to look up the Latinos. Yes, I've seen it. I have seen it. Isaac G, what's going on with you? Say sympathy fatigue. Okay. Chicago News, how you doing? Says when Kamala lost, she didn't do that Joker laugh. Tears of a clown. Yeah, it wasn't nothing funny, right? Joanne, how you doing? Says yes, be outraged. Our babies were fed to alligators for fun while their mothers work in fields they stole for gain. About time we stop believing in white supremacist fairy tales that are superior. Yep. It's the false idea. Patricia says, interestingly, some Hispanics agree with Trump. Many Hispanics want these illegal immigrants deported. Yeah, because and as I said, most Hispanics are here legally. So it's not like they're all here illegally. And there's a lot of people who are immigrants, but they immigrated here legally, right? From all walks of life, all races. They're immigrants, but they're here legally. So from that standpoint, the people saying, oh, well, there's a lot of Hispanics that don't want them over here. They're like, yeah, because I have to do it right. You should have to do it right too, So I totally get that. Chocolate Bunny, how you doing? He says, I believe Trump was placed there to wake us up. It's working for some. I totally agree with you. 1000% agree with you. He was there to wake us up because we were never going to wake up, especially under the Kamala administration. We weren't going to wake up. We were going to go right back to sleep thinking everything was good. Oh, that was close. We're out of danger. And it was going to get worse and worse because she was going to open the doors even wider and let any and everybody come over here who wanted to. So yeah, Miss Sweet says facts. Trump shouldn't have won. Yeah, but they let him, right? So let me see. I see I'm terribly behind. Let me catch up. Brother Samuel, how you doing? What's the weather like in Mississippi? It's hot here, so I know it's hot there. Pop, he says they didn't even have the fried chitlin vendor there. You talk about an Essence Festival. Good. I don't know. Daryl says Trump just made a mistake. He made France arrest a Russian basketball player vacation with his wife, saying he's a hacker. Something big about to happen in America. Distraction. You may be right. Okay, hold on a second. I blocked Robert too. He gonna make 400 accounts, but that's fine. If he's bored, he's bored. Brother Sammy says that's Florida State chant Gator bait. Uh-oh. So there's something to that, right? Brother Don, how you doing? He says, I wonder if they plan to offer the alligator 16 ounces of you crazy of hot sauce, tapatio, you for real? I hope not. Negro just say you voted for the Most High. A lot of people did. I know Damon, he crazy. Who else? 48 TCO, how you doing? Says I came in at 31 minutes and I still say F them off code Africans. Oh, wow. Well, they're learning too, because admittedly, they have heard and been told when you come over to America, stay away from Black Americans. They've even been told, we'd rather you hang out with white people or other people, but them Black Americans, stay away from them. It's like, okay. But then when something go down, people want to know where Black Americans are. It's like, well, you were staying away from us because for whatever reason you were taught that we ain't this, that, the other. So yeah, they're getting a wake-up call too. You cannot thumb your noses at Black people, Black Americans. You cannot do that. It's not gonna work out, you know. But I said this about the Essence Festival. We should have been in a position, I don't know if it was ever offered to a Black American, but we should be in a position to buy those things. If they mean a lot to us, then we should be in a position to buy them. Say, hey, because it was sold to a white company after the 4 Black men sold it. Time is who bought it. And then they sold it to Sundial Media, which is owned by Richie Liu, the Liberian. So were we ever in a position to buy it? So we could gatekeep those things, because as it seems, the Essence Festival, they're really trying to, you know, remove Black Americans. I mean, it's even to the tune of Stephanie Mills penned a letter saying how horrible it was operated. She says, please get it together for next year. And even Lauryn Hill, who has often been accused of showing up late, she spoke out about it on her Instagram and said, I'm glad that Essence spoke out and said it wasn't my fault. It was actually their fault because it was just terribly run. But she says she often gets blamed, and it's actually the promoters, because she says she's pretty on top of things. I don't know how true it is, but she says it's really usually the promoters who do a terrible job at it. So it all remains to be seen. The Holy FBA Code, XTV1, how you doing? Peace and power to you as well. D-Mac, what's going on with you? Hope you're doing well. Edwin, what's going on? He says, all true. I've heard stories from my grandparents and father here in South Louisiana. That's what I'm saying. Why would they make that up? And then them people selling those postcards. So why would that be made up? I know it makes them sleep at night to think that their ancestors didn't do horrible things to Black people, but they did, right? Rex, what's going on with you? Easy E, how you doing? Says, salute, babies fed to alligators is not a myth. Many stories told by my mom, dad, and grandparents, all from swamps of Georgia and Florida. Right. So I guess they lying too, huh? Your people ain't got nothing else to do but just make up lies. Oh, we're just going to tell our kids, you know, this horrible story. And why would anybody want to tell something like that that's so horrible if it ain't true, right? So we going to believe our people. That's what we going to believe. Sagittarius Goddess, says they're trying to erase a lot of history. Oh, yeah. D-Mac, thank you so much for the super sticker. Love and appreciate you for that. Tracy says black paint equals white corn. We'll say that. I Negro says, excuse me, I've heard of alligator bait, but not actual story. Yeah, well, there's Brother Easy E right there telling us his people, you know, told him stories. Somebody else said they've heard the stories. Brother Samuels heard the story. So are they all lying? I don't know. I'm just asking. Brother Eddie says October 2024. We know Black. July 2025. Black people save us. Exactly. No reparation, no vote. How you doing? Sherry says, I seen with the Haitians saying that they helped us with Black Wall Street. Yeah, I saw that. I just glossed over that. I'm like, I ain't got time to be inculcating all the foolishness, right? But they said they helped with Black Wall Street. They cannot even help themselves now, let alone help us in the 20. He says they are truly trying to take our place. The Black, and your comment cut off. Yeah, I did see that. It's like, why are we just not hearing this then? And if you help, how much did you really help if they obliterated Black Wall Street? What did you actually do to help? You know what I mean? But to me, that's kind of like common sense. Yeah. Red Aries, I totally agree with you. I says, I looked it up. I don't see what you saw, but I'm not saying it didn't happen. Evil knows no bounds. There you go. It's an article, New York Times, 1908. Look that up and see if you can find anything in relation to that. Beanie Brown, how you doing? It says, oh, it's real. I'm from the South. I heard older people talking about it back in the day. More testimonies. Okay, so you say, Negroes, you're from the North. Yeah, I'm from the West Coast. My mama was born in Georgia. My dad born in Los Angeles, but he was raised, you know, sort of kind of in Texarkana. So I got roots in the South, and we've all heard those stories before. I recently moved to the South, so I've even heard those stories, even from a long time ago. So yeah. Who else? And Easy says the woods was non-effective, so they envy ours. Okay. Jerry, how you doing? Agent Black said there's a book called The Delectable Negro, which talks about how they used to eat black people. It's a real book. So if they eating us, you don't think they'd give us to the alligators? I'm just saying. The Art of Today, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Lucky Me, what's going on with you? Says they think they're special. Some even think they're white. Yeah, they do. They actually do. L, how you doing? Thank you for that. JJ says they were singing I will vote for Donald Trump. And it's like, you guys weren't off limits either, huh? It's crazy, actually. Shay says, I don't think I could stomach reading that book, Agent Black, talk about the delectable Negro. But see, that's the stuff we need to read, right? We need to actually learn of our history. That way they can erase it. That way they can't say, oh, that didn't happen. That's a myth. We read these books and we keep that history with us and we pass it down, because there's other communities, they always teach about the horrors that happened to their people, and they teach us about them, right? The Holocaust, you'll never not be able to hear about that, but yet we're supposed to suppress our history, and it will eventually go away if we don't continue telling the stories. It'll just be, well, I think they said it. I don't know for sure. Hell, most of us don't even talk to the elders in our community no more. How many of us actually spend time talking to older people? When I say older people, I'm talking about the people that's like in their 70s and their 80s, right? They got these stories because they're closer to the stories than we are. We don't even halfway want to be bothered with them no more. I don't want to talk to them, but they want to talk to you. Sometimes it's just about you sitting and listening and getting those stories. I tell you, almost every time I talk to my daddy, he's 81 years old, I hear something I haven't heard from him before. You know, stories of growing up and, you know, things like that. And I think probably because he's getting older, a lot of this stuff is coming up of things that he's remembering. And it's always just a learning experience for me, you know, so we got to stay tapped into our history. Absolutely. Lucky Me says, I don't think so in Los Angeles. I don't think most are here legally. I would say that most of them are. Because it's just a lot of, you know, everybody here, but don't quote me, but I think that they are mostly in Los Angeles legally, and I would say throughout the United States. So yeah, Hello Lovey says the ones across the border don't like the American ones. Yep, and Lanita says them folks have always envied everything about us, but they are lazy. We are the American culture creators copied by the world. White folks invented very little, but stole so much. That is true. Don't say that too loud, though. Jobo, you say, as the white elders die off, the families continue to find body parts of black people in attics and basements. Yeah, and when they're trying to build another, you know, business or something, apartment building, when they unearth the ground, they find in whole cemeteries of black people buried, and they even had, I can't remember where it was it Harvard, as one of these colleges, where they had, was it black skeletons or skulls on display? It was like a couple months ago, and they finally gave it back so they can have a burial. It's like, why are you keeping that? And then a couple years back, Saartjie Baartman, they had her remains on display. Y'all know all about, you know, Venus Hottentot. That's what they called her. But Sarah Baartman, Saartjie Baartman, they had her whole body on display. She's just freak of nature, right? That's they made a lot of money off of her. And even in death, they did that to her. And I think they gave her back to South Africa. That's where she, region where she's from in South Africa. They gave her remains back there. So, yeah. Judite, how you doing? Says, we are at square one again. And Allie says, share with the audience about Al B. Sure. What happened with Al B. Sure? Oh, you talking about when I've told that story before, how my daughter, we were at the Galleria and my daughter actually accidentally bumped into him. She was being nosy, seeing what I was doing, and she turned around real quick and she bumped into him. And then he, you know, kind of stabilizes her. He goes, oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Are you okay? And me and her were both like, oh my God, it's Al B. Sure. Now, a lot of people think he's short, but he's not. He's actually pretty tall. Pretty, you know, tall, slender guy. Had this deep voice. Just very, like, soothing and nice. It's like, damn, can we bump into you again? So, yeah, I think that's the story you wanted me to tell. Mission Vision, how you doing? Hope that you're doing fabulous today. DJ Scrap Dirty, how you doing? Says raining here off of 87. Oh, so Mississippi is raining 87 degrees, and that's humid. It's humid here. Brother Ray says it's hot as the devil's draws here. So you are in Tokyo. So we were in Tokyo, and I think it's September. Oh my God, it's so hot there. Not this past September, but the September before. So hot. It's crazy. Miss Sweet says yes. Wake up, speak under Demetra. We need this election to get us to help each other and unite. You better believe it. Brother Samuel says, I remember in my hometown as a young boy, an older man told me about the time at a store that that one red light, the town had a white man, had a black man's in a jar. He told him this was what happens to the word when he puts it in the wrong place. Yeah. Those stories are true. That's the kind of stuff they did. Like, why do you want that in a jar? Just, ugh. But yeah, those stories are still alive, and well, even today. Panther Strike says, did they even pay tribute to Frankie Beverly at that weird Essence Festival? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. Like I said, I've never been. So I don't know. Yeah, Miss Sweet, they gonna make all the accounts that they want, but that's fine. I guess they have nothing else to do. I kind of feel honored, And Tracy says Frankie is a Philly dude. We don't need Essence for him. That is true, right? Tamara says, he says, but they let Mexican food trucks there the day before they started bringing them to Alligator Alcatraz. So yeah, I heard they had a lot of food trucks out there as well at Alligator Alcatraz in Florida. Let's see. Renaissance Woman, how you doing? Says, I don't believe they're still saying that. Still saying what? That they don't believe that the stories happen? Is that what you're saying? Don't need. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Woo, let me skip down. Tuesday Johnson, how you doing? Says alligators don't discriminate. No, they don't. They do not. Larry Johnson, what's going on with you? Says, God bless Donald Trump and God bless the United States of America. If that's how you feel. Ryan, how you doing? Says people with money are not allowed to help FBA. So you're talking about like black people with money. I believe it. I believe it. And maybe they do it quietly, right? Everybody with money, they don't often do it out loud, as philanthropy is supposed to be silent. Oftentimes when people pass away, then we hear about all of the things they did. Like with Prince, once he died, RIP to him, we heard about all the things that he did to help people, money and all kind of stuff, right? So yeah. Because he didn't want people to know. And Janelle, how you doing? Says it's funny that they recognize how disrespectful the ones they totally identify with doing this to them. They didn't care when it was happening to FBA. Yeah, but now they care, right? Now they care. Brother Samuel says foreigners have been systematically taught negative stereotypes about blacks in America. I believe says we can never unite. Is that what it's saying? Because it kind of got messed up. Chocolate Bunny and says, and she better tribute Sunday night to Frankie Beverly and Mays too, Demetra. So I don't know if that happened or what. The Essence Festival is over, isn't it? It was in the last weekend. Herschel says, I say if we can't buy it or keep it for the intended audience, let it go. Like Jet Magazine, yeah, just stop going. If we feel like it's not for us, then yeah, we just don't go. Brother Damon says Stephanie Mills was on point with her letter. Yeah, it was a long letter. She was letting them know. I don't know what kind of foolishness this was. It sounded like she got on real late. Lauryn Hill, it said her performance ended at 4:00 in the morning. There was hardly anybody there. I know I wouldn't have been there at no 4:00 in the morning. Tracy says the ancestors, hell, they still do things to us. There you go. It's not just stories, right? That stuff still goes on. Let's see. Brother Reggie says he still loves Lauren. Ryan says in order to have purchased Essence Festival, we would have had to crowdfund the money from FBA family. Yeah, but see, we need to get in a position to where we already ready, right? Oh, they selling the festival. How much? Oh, we got it. Bam. You know what I mean? It shouldn't even be a thing. We shouldn't have to be, well, okay, go look under your couch cushion and see how much you can scrape up. We should just already have it. We got to be in position to be able to buy stuff, if we really want these things. E.T. says, D, when will these folks' depths of depravity end? I could say, but I don't want to get in trouble here. But here, I'll just hold. No, not that book. I got so many books up here. I'll just hold this book up. Y'all interested in really knowing? Y'all go get that Fall of America by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You'll hear all about it, right? But that's when it'll end. And, you know, we're starting to see it already. And forgive me, y'all, I'm sweating. I don't know why my air hasn't kicked on, but it'll probably do it now. Rexy says, oh, please, they wouldn't let an FBA black buy the business. Look at the mall. Yep, in Crenshaw, you're absolutely right. Los Angeles, they boldly define the black community by selling to a lower bidder. Yeah, so it's a bunch of black investors that wanted to buy the mall in Crenshaw, Los Angeles, and they had the money. In fact, they bid more than the people they sold it to. Wasn't it some Russians or something they sold it to? Now, that mall, you know, has always, up until probably the last couple of years, been predominantly black, right? But they said, nah, we good. And they being the city council, they did that to them. So I agree with you. There's certain things they don't want us to have, but we can create our own stuff. Let's just keep it next time. Keep it with us. Create our own stuff and keep it. Don't sell out. Keep it. Right? 48 TCO says Essence Festival has always been the yearly gathering for FBA mamas, daddies, aunties, and uncles from all over. Yeah, but again, you know, most people ain't trying to see Megan Thee Stallion and Glorilla and them up in there. You know, they have festivals for them. And Micah says, I'm 58 and I heard the stories. Right. So we all can't be making this up. I don't know why we would, right? Candy, how you doing? As Eddie says, even the way them folks stare at us is an indicator that they have not changed and are not ready to do so. Not at all. They have no interest in doing it. Edwin, what's going on with you? Says, never be the only blacks at sleepovers. Come on now. Sleepovers, camping, fishing trips, and hunting with them folks. Never, never, ever, ever, ever do it. Now, Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that too. Okay. So for those of y'all that let your little babies go off and, you know, sleep at them people's houses by themselves and no, not mine. Because we've heard too many stories of our people coming up missing, you know, taken up out of here and be like, oh, I don't know what happened to them. We all went to sleep and they woke up dead. You don't say. You know what I mean? We've heard about countless times of it. Once it was a Jamaican dude and everybody tried to tell him, even his black American wife, oh, honey, it's not a good idea that you go off into the woods and going hunting with them. I didn't know. Oh, I'm going to be okay. He kept telling her, I'm going to be fine. I know them. They're my co-workers. And he came up out of there dead. And you know what they said? Oh, he was pointing his weapon at us and we were scared. So y'all all shot him? And guess what? They got away with it. It's like that sister, I think it's in Georgia. It's been, I don't know, maybe 10 years to this point. I think her name was Tamara, if I'm not mistaken. Tara, something like that. I do stories about it every once in a while. I might do it again. But she was at a sleepover with a whole bunch of they women, football moms or something. And she woke up dead. Now, she fell off a balcony. And nobody knew nothing. Oh, nobody knew. She had all these drugs and stuff in her system, you know, and they said, oh, well, she probably did that herself. And to this day, nobody's answering for it. Maybe one person, because he was tampering with the evidence because he was in the police department, but he didn't do no jail time. So why would he be tampering with the evidence if, you know, nothing happened to her, if she did that to herself? So we got a lot of examples to pull from where that's not a good idea. So I totally believe, I agree with you. Miss Sweet says 1908, that was recently with 1908. Yeah, you know, it was over 100 years ago, but to your point, not that long ago, right? Red Area says Holocaust denial is anti-Semitism. So how is denying slavery and Black history okay? Because we've been taught that that's okay. You know, you don't need to remember that. Jay, how you doing? Says we still have the Taste of Soul in Los Angeles in October, which I love, right? I would love to go this year. When I lived there, I would go as often as I could. Brother Sam says 89 degrees feels like 98 degrees. Yeah, pretty hot. Sanchez, how you doing? Says Alligator Lives Matter. Don't care about illegals. Okay, well, I wouldn't take it that far. I think that's cruel. You you should care about people. They should just come over here the right way, right? So like I said, I don't ever want to come from a standpoint of being cruel. It depends on, whoever it is, just come over here the right way, right? Because we couldn't do that there. Shouldn't anyway. S. Eddie, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you. Jesse says, my grandma told me about our babies being used as alligator bait. Her family was from South Carolina. There you go. Another story, right? Undisputed truth. How you doing? Says Americans are tired of them. They need to go home. Yeah, they going. Life Alliance Group. How you doing? Says the Haitian didn't help anybody in North America do anything. It was the Caribbeans that helped with some liberation, and I believe Mexico during May 5th battle against France, not the North. Okay. How else do we have on here that I have not seen? I see everybody's comments, but I know I'm so behind. And Brother Damon says Chain Nkrumah. And Al, he says, my mom said, where's Donovan? That's a good question. Donovan is at home. Donovan is at home or running the streets. He may be on his e-bike. He may be on his scooter. He may be in one of the several cars that he has. He may be walking his dog. He might not even be in the country, but he's somewhere. I'll tell him that your mother asked. Miss Sweet says, I love talking to older people in my family and others. It's very important for us to know real history out of our elders' mouth. Yeah. Sit and talk to the elderly people. They love talking to us. I never understand people. I don't want to go talk to them. I love elderly people because I'm going to be elderly one day. And, depending on who you ask, my nieces and the nephews, they're like, you're old. So I guess I'm getting there. Thank God. Laura, how you doing? Says, believe me, if you don't get stories from your elders, you will regret it when they pass. Yep. Exactly. Sage of the Lotus. How you doing, Leon? What's going on with you? So it was Harvard that had the remains of our people, and they recently gave them back. Yep. I see I'm so behind. Let's see. Try to catch up. Lord Flawless, how you doing? Says Google Sugarland 95. It was a slave graveyard and is unearthed during construction in a school district building. You know what is this is so crazy. You're talking about the Sugarland sugar plantation. That's what you're talking about. What's so crazy is I was over there a couple of days ago. And I'll bring my daughter in here and she can tell you the story. See if you think I'm lying. Deanna. See, she'll come in here. Deanna, come here for a second. Because I don't want to say it because you're gonna think I'm lying. Miss Tiffany, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. You said LA has about 1 million illegal immigrants. Tell them the story about the Sugarland plantation when we were over there. See the other day. What happened? Just briefly.
Okay. We were over in that area, and he was like, I said, Empire Sugar, whatever it's called. And he said, I want to go on a tour there. It looks haunted, or something's drawing me there. It seems like the history there, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you're being crazy. And then you Googled it, and it said that the Empire Sugar was on a plantation, and it was like trying to use nice words, basically saying that slaves were working on the plantation, milling sugar or whatever. And then they had like a labor, like prisoners or whatever, and some died in like a fire.
Yeah.
And so it was like haunted. It was indeed.
So that happened last week. I never even heard of it before. We drove by it, and I was like, I just feel drawn there, right? And I told y'all I'm clairvoyant, not to freak you guys out, but I just felt drawn there and knew nothing about it. So I Googled it and I learned all that stuff. I said, aha. There's just like my spirit was just feeling like this. It was just kind of eerie. It just felt like haunted. But it was just so weird that you said that, Laura Flawless. So weird. Anyway, y'all didn't care about that. I see that I've gone over time. Harley Lynn, how you doing? Blueberry Hill, what's going on? She said that this is crazy. Maybe South African president should ask Trump, why are you treating people like this? Yet you say Afrikaners are being abused, and we don't hear nothing about that no more, do we? All right, is it still going on? Sweet Daddy Kool-Aid, how you doing? Says, remember they tried to stop the Fearless Fund. Not sure if they succeeded or not. I don't think they did, but yes, they halted it for a while, but I think they were able to have it up and running. I absolutely, Raven, absolutely. Go. How you doing? Says, I love Stephanie Mills. Me too. Me too. My best friend, she can sing her stuff. It sounds just like her. She is an amazing singer. Roots Tracker, how you doing? It says they did not pay tribute to Frankie Beverly. Well, and they should have, right? Because wasn't he like iconic at the Essence Festival? And Gogo, he says, okay, Dimitri. Now I know your name. Who? Philip Scott, African Diaspora News Show. Yes, that's me. I'm glad you found me. I'm getting silly now. America Unleashed, how you doing? Says everyone who thinks skin folk, everyone who is skin folk ain't kin folk. Absolutely, totally agree with you. Let's see. At Chicago News, it says Elijah Muhammad, the last black man with black-owned businesses all over America, feeding black people, even still to this day, right? Of course, shout out to the Nation of Islam. Yeah, Brother Sammy says, stay out of large crowds of white people, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. But, people ain't going to listen until they have to listen, right? Easy says, the Essence sold out just like BET, and new regime is not FBA. Essence is a complete failure. Yeah, they said it ain't looking so hot. So anyway, let me skip all the way to the bottom, acknowledging everybody that I have not seen because I am over time. I will be back here tomorrow, you guys. Oh, Donovan is in the chat. I didn't see Donovan in the chat. Oh, okay, there he is. He says, I am sneaking back into the DR in September. Damn the laws. I told you, Donovan was around somewhere. Donovan you never know what Donovan is doing. Donovan might call you and say, I'm getting on a plane to Hawaii. It's like, damn, he wasn't going to tell nobody. It's like, I'm telling you now. Or I'm going out, overseas. I'll be back. So, yeah. And we love that for Donovan. Roy, how you doing? Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Who else haven't I seen? Tahada, how you doing? Says, can I be a side? Number 3, I'm tall, dark, and handsome. It's just between us. So I don't even have a number 1. And where's number 2? And now you want to be number 3? I need a number 1. Please and thank you. Nicole, I'm sorry, not Nicole. Nicodemo, it says gator food. Nobody wants to be gator food. Nobody. I can't even imagine being eaten up by an alligator. My friend came down from California and we went to Papa Do's, and he likes to try all kind of stuff. So he and his son, they ordered some alligator bites, and they're like, oh, you're going to try it. Because I'm one of those simple people when it comes to food. I don't really like to venture off too much. And it's like, you got to try it. And his little boy was like, just eat the alligator. And I was like, well, damn, I kind of feel put on the spot. So I ate a little bit. I was like, okay, it ain't bad, or just, I know it's alligator. So I wouldn't want to eat an alligator, and I wouldn't want an alligator eating me. So yeah, reality, what's going on with you? Hope you're doing well. Art, what is going on? Walaikum salam to you. Diane, hope you're doing well. Jerron, what's going on with you? Getting to the bottom, y'all. I got to the bottom. I can't believe it. Brother Reddy says, fry them joints up and they really taste like chicken. It's just season. Why don't we just eat some chicken? Although an alligator probably has a better diet than a chicken, I would think. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, the alligator, you can kind of taste, it tastes like chicken because it was fried, but it was just something about it, which I think it was the alligator taste, right? So anyway, the sage is like, nope. Yeah, never again for me. But I was like, damn, his son called me out. I feel like I need to do it. Anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I will be back here tomorrow, remembering that I take Friday and Saturday off because then I start over again on Sunday. I love and appreciate every last one of y'all, everything that you do, whether you like, subscribe, you donate, everything that you do to make the Demetri K Show possible. I could not and would not do this without you. Nico, you say alligator fajitas? No, thank you. Anyway, love y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.